Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time and depending on when you're going to be seeing this video. It's about your boy courserepscorner. Like I always tell you guys, it's my corner, it's your corner, and it's our corner. In today's video, I'm not going to talk much. I just want to give us a preamble of what we are to see so that we go into the video directly. Few days ago, I saw this post I'm going to share with us now on tundednut's Instagram page, where he said, autopsy done now, that's fast, relax. This came out immediately. SP Benjamin wrote that autopsy had been concluded, awaiting result. Don't forget, we are still on the process of getting justice for our brother, our young artist, our friend, talking about MOHBAD, okay, Oladimeji Aloba, aka MOHBAD. And now, I don't know if I also tell you, I've told us before, I did a video where I told us that he has been taken out from the ground for autopsy. Barely few hours they took him out from the ground, we got this information I just shared before. And like I said, I got it from tundednut's page, which it was very crucial that tundednut himself was like skeptical. What really happened? Why so soon? Why so fast? Why will you do an autopsy on a person who have stayed days on the ground and who has been dead, who has passed on for over a week, and immediately you are done with the result? I was like thinking, as a science-inclined person, I made some research. And I was like, okay, let us wait until we have somebody that will come and tell us one or two things about it. Oh, and behold, what we saw next was a confirmation from the police stating that, yes, it has been concluded. They wrote, MOHBAD autopsy update. The Nigerian police force wish to inform the public that the autopsy procedure for Mr. MOHBAD has been successfully completed. Further information will be provided as soon as the results are available. He now said, hashtag justice for MOHBAD. I was like, if this is like that, that means autopsy that have been doing all this while, that takes weeks. How come this particular one is taking just few hours? Then I went into the internet space to see if I could get something or someone that could explain to me, because me, I'm a biochemist. I am not a forensic pathologist or anything, or not a forensic scientist. So let me go and check. As God will have it, I saw a video that explained everything you need to know about autopsy. It was done by a foreign doctor who is a forensic pathologist. If you do science-inclined courses, when you hear pathology, something comes into your mind. I will not want to tell you anything. I will just want you to hear from how will I call it? A specialist. Yes, a specialist in autopsy. Somebody who has gained knowledge from constant carrying out autopsies. I want to leave the video for you now to judge for us if what the police said, you can phantom any form of truth in what they said. Can MOHBAD really get justice when we see that this autopsy was rushly or rapidly done? That's why I'm here. Okay, so I want to especially thank all of us for the continuous love and support. I am so grateful. The encomium, English will not kill me. The encouragement, the goodwill messages has been enormous, and I'm grateful to you all. Okay, I just want to show us this and tell us that we are looking for justice for MOHBAD, and we must get it. Okay, I want to thank you for this coming. Thank you so much for your love and the care. For those of us who have not subscribed or follow us in all our social media platforms, please, I beg you, it's the same name, courserepscorner. It's everywhere, the same name. Okay, follow us, subscribe to our channel, follow us, and let us move this ministry to the permanent side. Okay, till I come away next time, I leave us with this video made by a foreign forensic pathologist. Hear him, and then from what he said or what he will say now, you will tell me if MOHBAD will get justice or not. Okay, let's watch together. I'll watch with you. Okay, and see you soon.
So what exactly is an autopsy? What does it consist of? I am Dr. Wolf. I am a forensic pathologist, and I'm going to talk about autopsy today to basically alleviates maybe some misconceptions and kind of talk about what the procedure really is. Now, I thought to do this because in the last 2 or 3 days, I've gotten thousands of followers from Africa, specifically Nigeria, who have commented many times on my posts about, performing autopsies because there is a very popular rapper there named MOHBAD, and I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but he died, and there's some questions around his death. So I've had people ask me about autopsy, but I've also had a lot of people say that, we're sad that he has to suffer, that he has to go through this. This is terrible. And I want to say that I don't really see it as a procedure of suffering. And so I want to explain exactly what happens without too much detail. What is an autopsy? So autopsies can come in different forms. The first is really what's called an external examination, where you don't even open the body. You just look at the body, you describe it, you describe things that are like identifying features such as eye color, hair length, presence of tattoos or piercings, the clothing they were wearing, and any presence of injury. And then a lot of times, most times, you will also draw toxicology. What that means is you take fluid from the eyes, sometimes the vitreous fluid, you'll draw blood and maybe even urine, and you send that to a toxicology company to see if they can find any substances in there that shouldn't be there. All autopsies have the external exam portion, regardless of how much more you do after that. And during that portion, usually there are photographs taken for the record to document the evidence. Now, at that point, you can choose to do a partial autopsy or a full autopsy. So a partial autopsy is one that is focused on a certain area of the body. So very commonly, what I might see is somebody who, let's say they come to the ER in chest pain, they die, and we know that the cause of death is most likely in the chest. It's going to be related to the heart, the blood vessels, or the lungs, typically. So sometimes we can do it as a partial, particularly if there is a strong objection by the family to continue to do more. Okay, but for the most part, a partial will be chest or chest and abdomen organs, or sometimes it can be just the head if the cause of death is apparently just in the head. Now, those would be partial autopsies. Those are not as common as the full autopsy. The full autopsy is the surgical portion of the exam. So an examination involving organs of the head, neck, chest, abdomen, and pelvis, and any other area of the body that needs to be looked at in order to arrive at the cause of death. So ultimately, the goal of the pathologist is to arrive at the cause of death. And the cause of death is a specific diagnosis. So that would be something like heart attack, pulmonary embolism, ruptured brain aneurysm. It would be like something like electrocution or drowning or a gunshot wound or a stab wound or poisoning. So those are all specifics. But we also have to assign the manner of death. And the manner of death is a category. So that can be one of 5 things. In the United States, we usually have 5. There's sometimes a 6th category. But we have accidental deaths, natural deaths, suicide, homicide, and then when no manner can be settled upon, there is an undetermined category. There's also in some states a 6th category, which is deaths occurring during a medical procedure or due to therapy, that type of thing. That's not one that is in my state, so I don't use that. But that is the main way that we categorize those. So what exactly are the concerns for people who are objecting to autopsy? So the main objection is a religious one usually, and that those individuals, either it is dictated by their religion to not touch the body, or it is simply viewed as a type of desecration. But that's, I think, because there is some misconception about what we do. What we do is actually quite precise. It is surgical, and it is done in a way that is meant to preserve the integrity of the body, but when we have to do the examination. I mean, I would prefer that nobody have to have one, but there are times when the autopsy is necessary. It is a process of discovery. So you have to understand that the autopsy is sometimes the only way that we can discover what happened. And so to have a licensed medical professional do that it is the best possible way to determine how someone died. Now, when it comes to religious beliefs, I personally, in my practice, I respect the wishes of those religious beliefs, but sometimes the law does override that in terms of if you have a case that is a murder case or a potential murder case, you can't simply object to autopsy. It has to be done in order to confirm the details of that. But for the most part, we do try to not do autopsies if if the family doesn't want it. Now, some of the comments, and I hear these comments here. This is not just from my African followers. Now, these are comments that I hear in the middle of the United States, and that is, we don't want an autopsy done because it will affect the person's soul, or it will affect some transition to the afterlife. And what I say to that is, someone a long time ago that was teaching me forensic pathology, and actually quite a religious person too, her perspective was that if you don't believe in a soul, in an afterlife or anything, then there is nothing to be concerned with the autopsy. If you do believe in a soul or an afterlife, that soul is gone and has moved on into the next realm, and what is left behind is merely the anatomy. And so I liked that perspective because it's not a desecration. I mean, again, I would prefer not to do an autopsy if I don't have to, but sometimes we're left with that as the only choice. So in summary, I just want to say that the autopsy itself is a surgical procedure and a medical review of a death that, while not ideal, is not a desecration. And I hope that the video maybe helped explain some elements of it, to maybe allay some concerns that you might have. And as I recently posted, please understand that not everybody gets an autopsy. A minority of deaths actually get autopsied, okay? Sudden and unexpected death or death involving a criminal element are the two main reasons why people get autopsied. And it's not a form of suffering for the body, again, because either there is no soul or the soul has moved on. So there's no suffering there. But what it does is it relieves the suffering of those who are left behind, because then they, in most cases, are able to get an answer on what happened.